It was good. What's good? Let me know. Can y'all hear us?
Hello.
Two people in here. So, sitting here with Kelley Parker, you know what I'm saying, real estate guru down here in Atlanta, Georgia. We just uploaded a video where we walked through a property. On that property, they're expecting about a $40,000 profit. Sitting here with Mickey Boo, you know. I got a previous video to the last one I just did with her. And so trying to, get her brought to this community or whatever. We got 7 people in here. Let me see where y'all from. Let me know where y'all from. Let me open up the thing. There you go. I need to change this. So, what y'all want to talk about today? A couple people popping up. Arkansas in the building.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cut it down. Yeah. All right. So.
Well, we got good audio.
Yeah.
We need to know.
Yeah, I'm glad that we
can
know
hear.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that we know that. So let's see. All right, we got 12 people in here. We got somebody in here from Chicago.
Hey, Chirac.
Rashid.
All
right.
day.
Grand Touring Lifestyle from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. You from Chicago?
Yeah.
She from Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Up everywhere.
So, all right, y'all got any questions, man? I'm gonna start asking him some questions that I have for him. But I wanted to see if you guys had any questions before we start. Okay, G-Track Beats from Oklahoma City. Chad Luke from Atlanta. What's happening? We got 12 people on here already. So, all right, so in Atlanta right now, what are you seeing as far as real estate trends right now? Is there particular locations? Or are you seeing some things still on the market a little bit longer? Or
I mean, of course, as in every market in America right now, it's hit a point where the market has pretty much mellowed out and it stayed level. So right now, houses are still selling faster than average in the Atlanta area.
Yeah, okay.
But you're not getting as much money. It's becoming more of a, because this is still a strong seller's market, meaning that you can get what you want for your house.
What are you seeing?
What am I seeing with
per square foot on average?
It depends on the school.
Oh, okay. So basically, where your house is selling better based on the school system. So people are focusing more on their children as far as where they're moving into. So that's pretty good information.
And the crazy thing about the Atlanta area's APS, Atlanta Public School System, they increased like 1.5 points based on their grading schedule from last year to this year, which is good, meaning all the schools are improving.
That's what's up.
But areas like Cobb County, Gwinnett, out east in DeKalb, they have some of the best schools possible.
Okay.
As well as public schools, as well as a lot of academies like Woodward and academies up in Buckhead. So it's all, real estate market is driven by the school zone. If you got great schools, then you got a great real estate market.
Wow.
That's interesting. I thought it would have been driven by how close it was to a Walmart, but
all schools.
School systems, that's important. So that makes me wonder, like, what age group is the primary people buying houses? Because it would have to be people who had school-age children who pretty much are driving the market.
Not necessarily. It's even new families with newborns who kids aren't even old enough to go to school.
I got you. Well,
they want to plant themselves in a good area where they know the schools are solid.
Yeah, I just mean like it's not like, say, 50-year-olds with kids already grown and going off. Those aren't the people running
young
out buying houses.
Young professionals, young families.
Yeah. So that would basically be millennials right now.
Right.
That's my group and her group. Right. And so in his group, are you a millennial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat.
Yeah. So that's pretty much our group. You know what I'm saying? So that's good information. I didn't know that.
Yeah. School's always gonna drive the real estate market. Nobody want a nice house in a bad school zone. Yeah. Because they're gonna have to bus or drive their kids to school to get a decent education.
Yeah. So I feel refreshed knowing that people are actually valuing school for their kids, and they're not just making a decision based on how big their bedroom is.
Right.
Like I did. So we got Andre Harrison here from Lake Mount, Florida. We got Lamar here from Philly. Trucker Joe. What about, he said Vegas? Would that be a good place for real estate?
I mean, I watch a lot of TV
I got
when it comes to out of state real estate. And that's all I know is what I see on TV. So I'm not for certain on how that market is in Vegas. I know it's good for pawn and stuff. I watch a lot of pawn shows from Las Vegas.
So I was just out in Vegas. I literally was just out there maybe last month. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm not somebody who's easily taken back by a city. That city is amazing. The strip, I pretty much stayed like on the strip. And so that, like, my life was changed. Like, I wanted to move there. I wanted to buy a house there immediately. As soon as before I left Vegas, I was like, I gotta buy a house here. I just need a house here. But I was just thinking like, man, I couldn't afford to live here though. Like, it looks like it would be too much money to live there because I saw billions of dollars all around me, just the buildings, the structures, and all of the, how the economy was flowing. I saw so much money, it was crazy. Just being able to look at the buildings and know how much money is in this and is invested and is being extracted from all these people coming in and going out. And so I thought, it was just going to be way too much money to live there. But then I found out that it is actually about as affordable as living in Atlanta to live in Vegas because the outskirts is where everybody lives. And I don't know much about the outskirts, but I know you're not going to buy a house on the strip. I know that for a fact. But the people who work in Vegas and who live locally to Vegas, they say you can still get a house for 200s, a decent sized house for 200. So that's relatively Atlanta for the most part. And so I was not, I guess, is taken back by the costs at that point. And then a lot of things are free. I mean, not free, but like affordable. Like when I was in Vegas, if you wanted to like go out, there were people who actually had limousines they would send a limousine to you. You would call the number and they would send a limousine to you to pick you up, to take you to the club. Like the ride was free. Like it didn't cost you anything. So if you are somebody local to that environment, I could only imagine the kind of things that you might be into. It is truly Sin City, but Vegas, I wanted to buy real estate there, but when I found out that how open it was there, because it's still a lot of desert outside the strip. The strip will fool you. You land in Vegas, you think everything is this is how it is, this is the whole city, but you go far enough out, not that far even out, and all you're gonna see is desert all around you. And anytime I see like open space like that, I never want to buy a place there after that, because I know if I build a house here, then they can build a house across the street, and it's still, if I wanted to move the next week, they can keep, selling, building houses. I like more congested areas if I'm gonna buy real estate, just because it's not a whole lot more movement to compete with if I do decide I want to get up out of it. But out there in Vegas, it's a bunch of desert all around the strip. So, what about you? You looking to buy a house anytime soon?
That's why I'm listening to you guys. That's why I'm here.
So she knows nothing about real estate.
Nothing. But I definitely care about the school system with the kids. So that's important to me. So that's a really good thing.
So I had to stop them from communicating earlier because she was asking questions. I said, wait, let's just say that for the video. Okay, so she was asking, well, we were talking about flipping houses, and she wanted to know, is that Airbnb?
No, so wait. So it's when you guys talk about selling houses, I was trying to get to like the bottom of when you say flipping houses, is it like, as far as your realtor license, but you guys are saying houses that you already own. I thought you were trying to discuss getting into the business as far as having your license and flipping other people's houses.
Okay.
Being the face of that house. You know what I'm saying?
So selling a house is not necessarily flipping a house.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna let him explain it. Okay. This is his thing. All right. This is his thing.
There's multiple ways to flip a house. Like if someone leaves a house to you and you inherit it through probate court or whatever, and you don't see yourself living in it, and you have no interest in it, no money in it, you can sell it as is, and that's considered a flip because it's free money if nothing is owed on the house.
Right.
But if you purchase a house, of course you want to invest something in it so you can get your money back out of it plus profit.
Right.
And then wholesaling is another way of flipping, meaning you put a house under contract and you sell it for more than what you got it under contract for. Either you assign it or do a double closing, triple closing, quad closing, however many closings you need to make a profit on that one wholesale deal.
Okay.
All right. So,
And she asked a question about selling houses without a real estate license. Some people do it daily. I mean, but they have to own that house. Like, I can't sell anybody's house without having a license. But if I own a house, I can do it for sale by owner or something like that. So.
So we have a couple people on here. Jada said it sounded like Vegas was dope. Vegas was exceptional, man. It's life changing. They had so many LED screens. It felt like you were living in the future. Like when you watch those movies and they have holograms popping up, it's not holograms, but the screens are that vivid, and they're the size. They're like 50 feet in the air on the side of a building, and the building could be round, and the screen will be wrapped around the building.
Wow,
It
so
is
curved.
It is crazy, yeah. James Lewis, 405. 405, what exactly? Are you saying
That must
that's...
be the zip code.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha. What zip code is that? What zip code is 405?
702.
So James Lewis said 405. Somebody, Trucker Joe just dropped 199 in that thing, the super chat, man. Shout out to you, big homie. So Michelle Hinkins says, how long have you been flipping houses?
Flipping. About 3 years in Atlanta. I was just a regular realtor in Florida.
Wait, so I've been in my house about 3 years. I think you've been here longer than that, doing that.
Yeah, but I was doing traditional.
Oh, okay.
Buying and selling houses for other people.
Okay.
As far as putting my boots on the ground, it's been about 3 years.
Yeah.
But I learned everything prior to me jumping out there and doing it.
Yeah. So I thought I was just gonna maybe just jump out here and oh, he already flipping houses. I'm gonna learn from him. And so I went through like 1 or 2 properties with him, and I realized how much I didn't know. Because he knows the price of windows, price for flooring, like he knows toilets. You got to learn this. You got to put some time in to kind of get this stuff down.
Right.
I'm not saying it's gonna take a lot of time. I just didn't have a lot of time, so that's why. So
I want to know what made him get into doing that. Like,
I mean, when I was doing traditional real estate, I noticed I was buying a lot of lower end properties, like cheaper properties for investors, because I work primarily with investors. And I asked them a lot of questions, like, what you gonna do with this house? I mean, you got it for $80,000, and I see the comps are like $300. It was like, oh, we're gonna invest in it.
I got you, Daniel. Hold on, I got you. Go ahead.
Put some money in it, remodel it, and sell it. I'm like, okay, how do you do that? It's like the same thing that they do on HGTV where they invest money, but they really doing it. They're not doing it like on TV or HGTV where you get a lot of the product for free. So you got to learn these numbers. Like my granite guy, Al, he does all the granite for the HGTV shows that I filmed in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. They comp those people those granite prices. I mean, they tell them those homeowners the expensive prices, but they actually giving them while they filming the show. Sorry for leaking it, but they giving them the product.
You hear that, HGTV?
For the promotion, for the promotion of the product or the granite or the quartz. So once you learn the price per square foot on basically everything, then it's easy to go in a house and assess it based on if it doesn't need any structural.
But who put you onto it? Like, what made you say, I want to start flipping houses? What was your first house and your first house experience?
My first flip, I was in Atlanta maybe about 8 months doing tradition. Okay. And we came across a deal in Grant Park over by Zoo off of Hill Street.
Ooh, Grant Park was hot back then.
So when you say traditional, break that down for the ones who don't know.
Traditional real estate is buying and selling houses with a realtor license.
Okay, so the regular way of doing it, the legitimate way of doing it.
Everything legit.
Well, yeah, but I said that because you also said that if you own your own house, you can flip that.
It's still legitimate though.
Right, it is. But the traditional term you're saying is having your realtor license, doing it as that aspect of a business.
Yeah, when you got your license, like I got a couple guys back home, like Andre Harris, #1 realtor in Central Florida. Look him up.
Andre Harris. All right, bro. What up, boy?
And basically, you just with that real estate license, that gives you the power to sell and help other people buy real estate.
Okay.
Without that, you can't help nobody. You can't give no advice. You can't do nothing. All you can tell them is Google it.
You don't have MLS.
Go find somebody with a license because you're not licensed to give that type of information. You don't have access to the MLS. You ain't got super access to get in the houses.
Yeah.
And then you don't live by a certain code of ethics. We have to abide by a certain code. So if you're a realtor, you don't want to jeopardize your license by doing shady business.
Right.
So you want to be protected when you're buying or purchasing real estate. Purchasing or selling real estate.
So sorry to cut y'all off. We got a couple comments here. I need to get through them. Curtis says, do Mormon own a lot of land? I honestly don't know anything about
Mormons?
Yeah.
Mormons as in a religious group?
I guess so.
I don't know.
Well, let us know.
But I don't think they're in Vegas.
I don't know.
I think they're like Ohio
or something.
Somewhere in the Midwest.
Trucker Joe says, yeah, I want to move to Vegas, laugh out loud, but cost of living is not expensive, I've heard when I went there. And then G-Track says 405 is Oklahoma. Okay, that's what's up. How far are you from Lawton? James Lewis said already. Now this is what we was trying to get to. This is for you. And see, this is why we do this right here. Right? Yeah, I got you, Daniel. Daniel says, hi Kelly. I never flipped a house before, but I have $40,000. Can you tell me what I should start out with?
Really?
$40,000 on this channel right now. Okay? Okay. Wait a minute.
What's his name? Daniel?
Yeah.
All right, Daniel. Being that you got 40,000 capital, I would set that in your account so you can show it. But get in touch with a hard money lender, such as Lima One or Angel Oak Finance, and reach out to them. You got the capital to show. If your credit is a decent score, I don't want to know your credit score, but just go on the website, limaone.com, limaonecapital.com, and fill out the credit app. And they'll get back to you probably tomorrow or Tuesday, and you submit the documents on your bank statement showing that you got the 40K. And they'll take it from there. They'll let you know what you're approved for based on your credit and the amount of capital that you're showing. Yeah. That's the first step. And after you get that number, like we got a viewer here by the name of Chad Luke. Me and Chad been hunting for him a house for like 2-3 months. But we just can't find one that we like as a group, because I would never put somebody in the house that I wouldn't work on personally or list or sell or bring somebody to, because there's a lot of not good houses. I ain't gonna say bad houses, but not good houses that look great through pictures and on paper, but aren't worth the money that they're asking for it. So if you can't get it for a certain number, then don't do it. Don't just jump out there because you got 40K liquid and you approved for $250,000. Right. At the end of the day, if you borrow that $250,000, you owe that $250,000. And it's getting points on it, and it's different. It's a little different from like a regular loan. It's a little different. It's like a fast mortgage. Yeah. So we'll balloon on you. So who else? Okay, this Trucker's Life says, good evening. What's happening, Trucker's Life? Born Savior says, thanks for inspiring me to study accounting. In case y'all don't know, if y'all watching, I'm an accountant. It's what I do for a living. I love it. It's a great thing to study. If you're gonna go to college for something, go to college for something you can use. Let's see. Trucker's Life says, thank you for being professional. What you do. Thank you. I don't know if you're talking to me or him. Toe Piglet, shout out to you. Hey, Toe Piglet came through, dropped that $9.99 in here in the super chat. So I gotta go ahead and miss some comments. I had to mention that because you came in. All right, so what's Kelly's Instagram? Kelley, Kelley_Parker. So Kelley. Don't forget the EY. Some people do Kelley. It's Kelley_Parker. My business page is Metro Pro Remodeling.
Metro Pro Remodeling. He got some dope pictures on there where you can see some of the stuff he's did. Oh yeah, okay. I'll just make sure. Okay. Let's see. Somebody said you got some amazing eyes. Oh, my sister says hola. And Maurice Anderson was the one who asked what your Instagram was. Trucker's Life says she's got some amazing eyes.
Thank you, Trucker.
Yeah, Trucker's Life. All right, Travis Knowles. What's happening, man? Hey, man, I went to school. Well, I didn't actually go to school with him, but he's from Tallahassee. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Trav. So yeah, he got a twin. Man, we gotta do a video, man. We gotta do a video. Home team, you know what I'm saying? So we went into a property today, and I was actually surprised because it was very run down. Like, I was not prepared. It looked like it needed a whole new house. So he said it's only gonna cost like $50,000 to fix it up.
Because when you come in and you look at these houses and get discouraged based on what you see, I mean, it's a four-sided brick house, no foundation issues. So basically, you just going in there, it's all cosmetic. You're going to update the electrical where it's needed, change out the plumbing, the HVAC, some of the windows, flooring, paint, tile, no carpet, adding some walls, taking out some walls, so you can get it done.
So, she didn't see the video that we did so far.
And I got a question too.
Okay, go ahead.
So if I was somebody like Daniel, right, and I had 40,000 to put towards a house, right? So what if that 40,000, like you just said, it costs 50,000 to remodel the whole inside? Would that be the point of taking out the loan? But I don't necessarily want to get a loan.
How the hard money works.
This is good.
How the hard money works. If you got 40,000, right? You don't want to use 40,000. You want to use as little amount as possible.
So I would go get a house for a small.
You would apply for a loan through the hard money lender or conventional loan if you're gonna live in it, and they would approve you to a certain amount. Say if they approve you for 200,000 with a 70% LTV. That means you have 140,000 to play with.
Tell her what LTV is.
Right.
LTV is loan to value ratio, meaning they're going to loan you up to 70% of the value of that property.
Right.
So if the house is worth 200,000, they will loan you up to 70% of that.
Okay.
So 140. So that 140, you're going to have to buy the house and remodel the house.
Right.
Inside of that 140.
Inside that 140.
Right.
And if you're getting a loan for 140 through Lima, they might require you to bring like 10% down. So that's 14,000.
Okay.
So you're not using the 40, you're using 14
of my own
of your own money.
Right.
But they fronting the rest.
Right.
Right.
For you to buy the house and remodel the house, and once you sell it, you pay them back what you borrowed from them, plus their points of interest or how you structure your loan. And then you walk away with the profit, and they walk away with.
Because I flipped it for a higher price.
So basically,
So
basically, like that's why I was gonna actually bring that into this. So she didn't get a chance to watch the video yet, rushing around. So anyway, so in the video, his people acquired a house for 100,000, right? And I don't know how much they had to put up for the hard money, but let's say 10,000. They had to put 10,000 in of their own money. So they acquired a house for 100,000. They got to put 150 into the house, and the house can sell for 210 to 200,000.
Okay.
So once they sell the house, then they're able to pay back whatever they owed, and they get to keep the spread.
Right.
So and then the other part of that is it's going to take about 3 months in order for them to do everything from acquiring the house to renovating it to setting it back up and then flipping it in about 3 months. So in that 3 month time frame, they look to profit about 40,000.
Okay, so in real estate, I always hear people saying, the peak time is of when it's best to sell. I know you said around the school year, people picking the best schools, or even if they got babies, they buy this house, they're gonna be there for some time. So for beginners that get discouraged and flip, like creating this home, fixing it up and everything, and as far as promotion, what like encouragement do you have?
As far as the
it's not booming on the market just yet or something.
Being that this is Atlanta, this market, like at least still 1,000 people move to Atlanta a day. So you're always going to be able to sell your house, although it may take longer than usual. So you got to keep that in mind when you're remodeling the house. You want to keep on that schedule or whatever, because if you get pushed back, then the market might cool off because it's getting into the cooler months. That's when the market cools off, because people want to be in the house before the holidays. They like to buy between April and October. Okay. So in that time, that's when the market is the hottest, and it's the hottest time of the year, basically. So if you can turn over in that time, great. If you can't, it's still not bad, because at the end of the day, you can, because the market is still leveled out, you can just make the adjustments based on if you're making payments on this property and you have to sit on it a little longer, you have to sit on it till it warm back up, then that might cost you another $5,000. for sitting on it for 5 months, but just put that in your list price. That way you get it back.
Because you guys spoke on kids, families.
Mm-hmm.
What if there's a retired veteran who's just not wanting to purchase a house? They don't have any kids, or that person might be a single person wanting a single person home. And like, what would you do about things like that?
That's more of a traditional side. Like, if veterans aren't really flipping too much, that because you're talking about someone who lives in the house.
Yeah, that wants to purchase that
Right.
house.
That's more on the traditional side. But as far as investing, you want to just, I'm
saying, because like, look, so say for instance, you got this person that just started out.
Mm-hmm.
They have a certain amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want to put too much money in a big size house for a family.
Right.
So they're trying to flip a house that's for like, 1 or 2 people that's going to be there, maybe a guest room and then just a single room for the single person or couple.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what would you do in that if that's
still all traditional.
okay?
Like, it's just based on preference at that point. Because if they don't want a higher end house, then that's based on that preference. Like,
Okay. So it's not a certain type of house that sells the most.
nah.
Okay.
Because Atlanta's so chopped up when it comes to where families live and single people live. Men don't buy houses. Men go with their wife to buy houses. Ultimately, it's the women's decision.
And what rooms sell the house?
Bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen.
Number one kitchen.
Number one, kitchen or bathroom. Bathroom and kitchen by the top. Then the master bedroom.
That lets you know women are the driving force to.
I agree.
To
Kitchen and bathroom, because I have to have my garden tub, and I have to have a gourmet kitchen with a big island space, period.
Right. Because ultimately, a man like myself, I could live in an apartment the rest of my life and be fine.
Okay. Right.
Women, they see all kind of stuff that we can't really see right now.
Right, like decorating on the first walk.
They see little kids.
They're like, it's my life.
Right, this the kids' room.
Right.
This is my life.
Yeah.
I belong here. I love this house.
I want this today. I want it now. Like,
I met with a couple investors earlier today, and they told me they like working with me. They would like to work with me based on what they know about me. And what they know about me is the color doors that I put on the house. They don't care nothing about the work. They care about the thought process that goes into the door color. Being that I have
psychology.
Right.
You
got an idea, like if a woman see a Tiffany blue colored door, they're not gonna be thinking that this shit is normal on the inside.
Right.
They're gonna be thinking this is luxury.
If the door looks good, right. I'm knowing.
That's crazy.
Okay. It matters, even the doorknob.
It's like lipstick.
Yes.
You hear that? This is why you got to be with a real estate guru psychologist if you're actually trying to make some money out here. So no debt but love says good live chat, man. No, man, thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. JT Hustle, that's my boy, man. He live in North Carolina, man. He get to the money. JT said, thanks for the game you give fam, soaking it all up. About to go clean up nice. A tax lien auction this year and get in the real estate game myself. Let's get it, bro.
Good
Be careful with them
luck.
tax
Good
liens,
luck.
man.
Hey, you hear that?
With them.
He said, be careful with them tax liens. Now, JT got stupid money.
But JT gonna inherit them
So,
liens.
JT, you need to get up with Jetty, with Kelley Parker. I call him
Let's
Jetty.
do a little
You need to get up
research.
with
It's
him.
gonna jump out there because some
You need
YouTube.
to get at
videos.
him. You know what I'm saying?
Like, know what you're doing. Like, anybody buying foreclosures, tax liens, probate, whatever, be careful. Just do a little research on the property before you go to the auction block.
So, Maurice Anderson says, do you think the recession will hit Atlanta hard?
I don't think it's going to be a recession no time soon. And the reason that I say that is because all the banks that caused the recession back in 08, 09, they got dissolved because they were doing predatory lending. They gave people money that they knew couldn't afford the money. Couldn't afford to pay the loan back.
Right.
So that's what caused the recession. Now they make you jump through so many hoops to get a loan to make sure you're qualified. Try to buy a house right now. Go put a house under contract. And then just go use your credit card at Walmart to see how you get denied.
No lie. When I bought my first house, I bought it in like 08, 09. So it was a little different, That's when the market was crashing. They were trying to sell it to anybody who could still get a house.
Right.
But
because they knew the market, they caused when the recession hits, not to say this to jinx anybody, but the government causes the recession. When they put these type of
speak facts.
Yeah, when they put these type of what is that? When they just give anybody money. If you give like
rules to giving loan,
right?
Because they basically the government sets the rules for how the banks
the stipulations and all that.
See, the banks are giving anybody money. You know, hey, give me some money because it ain't their money anyway. Like it's,
right.
I think whatever you deposit, the bank can loan up to 9 times that amount out. Mm-hmm. So they working with free money anyway, and the banks actually create the money.
When the bank give you a loan, they sell your loan to another bank. Yeah. It ain't even your bank no more that got the loan. Yeah. Like if you buy a house and you get a mortgage on this house, you're gonna get a letter 2 weeks after you close saying we're your new lien holders. Like we bought your loan, so now you owe us money. You don't even owe whoever you got the money from to buy the house.
Yeah. And this may be rambling because this is actually going off into a whole nother segment about how money even gets created. It's not being created at the print press.
Right.
It's when you take out a loan, that is actually new money entering the world at that moment. And it's digital currency. That's why I don't have to go through the print press, because it's just with a digital currency in an account. And the government authorizes banks to create this new currency as long as you meet these parameters that they set for or whatever. Yeah. But I don't think that Atlanta's going to be hit that hard by if we do have a recession.
The job market,
the fact that it's Atlanta, you know, like
the fact that it's Atlanta and the fact that the jobs, everybody's working right now.
So
even if they're not making what they want to make, they working, so they can afford to stay where they want to stay if they work hard enough or get another job.
So 50% of the population lives in only 9 states. So 50% of everybody in the United States only live in 9 states. And say 20, 30 years from now, 50% of the entire population will probably live in only 9 cities, and they will be metropolises. And Atlanta is probably still the cheapest metropolis that you can actually move to, because LA is expensive.
Chicago,
San Francisco,
Chicago.
Expensive. I don't really know about Chicago, but she said
expensive.
it. I'm gonna take her word for it. She would know better than me.
New York.
Miami.
New York is probably the most expensive. Let me tell you about New York. If you ever go to NYC, Manhattan, or whatever, take a tour.
Definitely.
Because like an open bus tour, they will tell you that these buildings with all these billboards in Times Square, most of those buildings are vacant. Like nothing is in that building but a power supply to those billboards, because those billboards charge people up to like $2 million a month.
And that's why like cigarettes and then like food, little things for food, like burgers are way more, you know what I'm saying, in the Manhattan area than any other area.
Right.
It's like $2-3 more dollars.
So to answer your question, the recession, don't worry about a recession.
So, okay, so I want to say this right. Jabraz says, wouldn't you recommend a newbie partner with someone like you, Kelley, rather than go solo on their first few flips?
Even if we don't partner together, bro, just shoot me some questions about any concerns you may have. Like, because being new, if somebody know you new, they're probably gonna take advantage.
You're green. I ain't saying I'm messed up, but if I knew you was new and I could take advantage of you.
Do you partner
I'm trying to get
on your first time, or do you do it on your own?
It's probably messed up.
There's a lot of people that be reaching out to me. I'm sorry I can't reply to everybody through my Instagram, but if you reach out to me, you get hope of me, then we're going to talk about every question that you got, because I don't want you to get screwed over. I want you to refer people to me when we do good business together, and I just want to keep the positive energy out there. So I'm not going to mess anybody over, because I'm a great person and I live by a different code. Like, I don't want to get rich tonight. I don't want to get rich tomorrow. I want to build relationships where I can get to what I want when I need to get there. Like, I'm not in a rush like this guy. His name is Casino.
Matter of fact, no, I don't gamble. I'm the house. You play against the house long enough, you always lose. That's the rules of the casino. Check this out though. Could y'all # fast money for me? If you're watching this, that's like my little coin, like my little phrase, fast money. I ain't trying to do it slow. You know, we trying to play catch up. We trying to get this money fast now. So if y'all can do that # fast money, follow me on Instagram at King Casino 1.
Fast money.
Right, # fast money. And also follow me on Instagram at King Casino 1, and you can follow her on Instagram
at The Real Mickey Boo. So TheRealMickeyBoo. Everything is spelled correctly.
And then you can follow him on Instagram at Kelley, Kelley _ Parker, Parker. Remember, Kelley, not Kelley. Remember that?
No, it is
EY.
LLEY.
Oh, I messed it up. It's 2 E.
He's too fast.
KELLEY.
That's not what I said.
You said the other way around.
Okay, my bad. That's what I meant. I know what I meant. Everybody mess up. So, okay, all right. Miami is the best city. Miami is cool. It's more expensive than living in Atlanta, though.
Right.
Like, to buy a house in Miami it costs a lot more than what square foot wise than what I could get in Atlanta. That's just.
Yeah, Atlanta has
I like Florida in general because it's tax-free state. You know, no state tax. I love it. I miss that. I used to be a Florida resident. I grew up in Tallahassee. All right, so Maurice said how much Kelley charged for his time.
Depends on.
Kelley, we need to talk.
Depends on, bro. Like, I'm not gonna charge you nothing to answer some questions.
Yeah. Now, if you're trying to get a consultation,
So if you're trying to get a consultation, well, I got to.
But just like, hey,
Give you some real pointers to save you some real money. Then it might be. We can work it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he
Let me
has.
list it, and we can call it even.
Yeah, he has like all of the books from all of those guru courses for real estate and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, you can have a book, but it's nothing like having the real thing. You know, it's a lot. It just shortens the learning curve because you can read something and still not understand it, but to have somebody who can actually walk through a property with you and say, this is this, this is this. So he can show you how to walk through property.
Yeah, look at the video that we posted earlier today.
Yeah.
The $40,000 profit video.
Yeah. Check that out. So Ricky Blackshield, what's happening, man? He the big homie. Saying hi, just tapped in, thumbs up. Black billionaire status. Tashana Smith said that. She said here in Dallas, Texas, the wholesale market is definitely booming. I don't know. I heard.
She said Dallas.
Yeah, I heard Austin is jumping too, but I don't know enough because Erica Williams is from I think she live in Austin. So she said it's jumping out that way, but I don't really know. I'm gonna go check out Austin pretty soon. I think I'm gonna fly out there later this month. I'm gonna fly out there and check it out. But yeah, man. Y'all got any more questions, man? Just hit these people up. She's trying to learn about all of this. You know, this is what he does. I'm an accountant. I just, I like my stuff a little bit quicker. But real estate is dope for I'm actually about the Airbnb a property I have, and so that's what I'm really into because it's fast. It's that night, as soon as they check in, you get that check. What's the best hard money company to do business with on your first flip?
I recommend Lima. If you shoot me a message on Instagram, I can send you a link and do a soft introduction to Matt or someone over at Lima.
Yeah, Lima One Capital, LIMAONE Capital. So yeah. I spoke to them before. They were pretty cool. I didn't pull the trigger on it because I have a bunch of things going on, little things going on. So anyway, are you interested in real estate?
I am.
What?
Because that's another way to make money.
Okay, she don't care.
A million ways to make money.
See, some people have a passion for real estate. Like they've never done real estate, but they just want to do real estate. I think I can
sell a house.
She just want to get some money.
Let me
walk
through the house.
That's how I am.
They want to buy that house. Okay.
It ain't really like the passion. Like everybody.
But see, the passion grows though.
Well,
once I get into studying it and I get a feel, everybody that's comfortable with something, they could, if you have the knowledge on it, you move differently.
Yeah.
So right now I don't know about it. I'm kind of like,
but it's people out there who want to do real estate who have never.
I always wanted to.
But you want to just.
I had no education. I didn't really know people that done it.
Look,
but
okay, I'm like that.
At least I want to get my own money.
I'm like that. But see, being around him, I just realized that I don't know enough. And I have tenants and stuff like that, and I'm getting ready to do an Airbnb and stuff, but yeah. But the flip thing is kind of big, I ain't did that yet, I'll buy something and rent it out. So I'm still old school mindset.
That's what I would do. I don't think that I would sell houses. I think I would rent it out because that's a residual income like all the time coming in.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, what I'm thinking about doing my Airbnb, I'll make it a casino experience. Like maybe I'll take you out or whatever. Like it's gonna be like a premium. I might come to Atlanta, stay with me for the weekend, and then
the people, right?
Yeah. Like stay at one of my spots.
He's trying to get raw killed and everything.
No, wait a minute. Now he's going. Whoa. She just.
Is it people you know that you're gonna have come stay with you?
No, but I'm gonna make sure that they verified and stuff.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, I'm new to this. Just asking. Okay, so you would set up little.
Like I'm thinking about doing like a casino experience. Like I show you.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Just
we talk business. Like we talk business. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. You got any kind of questions? Something I'm thinking about.
That's a good idea.
But she just scared me.
No, but that's a good idea.
Like,
I didn't understand.
She went too hard.
I didn't understand. So you're saying you would have somebody come out that's interested in these type of things, and then boom, you would take them to go look at a house and an Airbnb and whatever like that, and give them the whole nine, and then maybe they can be Kelley too, right? There we go.
Oh, we can see. She scared me. Honestly. I think I'm done with that idea. No more casino
I'm sorry.
I know people on Airbnb are doing those kind of things, and I was like, you know what? We can make it a casino experience. I'll take you to Blue Flame or somewhere like that. Like I don't know what you might like to do. Like whatever you into. I'm not taking you to Justin's. I mean, I'll take you there, but I'm not.
What?
It's
what
expensive.
are we talking about?
Justin's is expensive. It's a restaurant. I don't know if you ever been there, but we spent $300 at lunch once, and I ain't never going back. No time soon. Not till I hit the.
So you went from bringing them out here to taking them to Blue Flame, and then.
Well, I'm just saying, like I don't know what they into, but if they into.
But see, you see how you just really put that in the category. What if it's a woman and she doesn't want to go?
Well, I didn't say she had. I also said Houston's. Like,
no, you didn't say Houston's.
Or Justin's, or whatever. So that's a restaurant. That's not one of those places. But the point is, I'm just saying, like, if you come, some people want to go there who might be women too.
Yeah.
This is Atlanta. We're open-minded.
I'll take you because you have more fun with me than him anyway. He'll show you.
That'll be even better. That way I don't even have to do anything.
I do.
That'll be even better.
Yes, and we can go out.
All right, so.
Hi.
We out of here. All right. We're about to.
Yeah, Kelley's gonna say bye. Ooh, hurry up, man.
Hold on, let me read these comments. Somebody said they want a duplex. Let's see, is it true that you can flip houses with other people's money?
Ooh.
OPM, other people's money.
That's what hard money is.
Yeah. Buy and hold is the best game for playing for passive income. Chad Luke says, what are some real estate books y'all recommend or some?
I'm going to grab the books right now.
He's actually about to go grab some books right now. I didn't know if he knew you was, maybe he already had read the comment, but he had just got up while I was still reading it, and I wasn't prepared. Yeah, so, yeah. Something funny happened, and something funny happened.
But yeah.
By the way, I've been in the gym. You can't tell because I haven't been in the last maybe 2 weeks, but I've been in the gym and I was looking. I ain't gonna say I was looking good, but I was looking, like I was getting there. But the point is, you gotta take care of your health, man. Get your money, take care of your health, take care of your family. You're gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good, man. It's a beautiful time to be alive. We got Wi-Fi. Imagine not having Wi-Fi. Imagine this. People that didn't have Wi-Fi years ago.
Let me just hold a book because I'm embarrassed right now.
Yeah.
This book. Boom. Let me put it up there.
Hold on, let me.
That's a good book.
Great Live Family. Yeah, man, this is the Royal Family, man. Y'all part of the Royal Family.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's a glare, and you showing the
that's
ring
what I'm trying to.
You showing the ring light. See, you can't.
Look, I'm just
can't take Nick nowhere.
While y'all doing, I'm just gonna read.
What's the name of that title?
What's this one?
Fundamentals of Supply Chain Management.
All right. Then you got rentals. Rentals houses for the successful small investor.
You
got
rental houses.
Buying and managing residential real estate. This is all traditional real estate stuff, as well as the one when you join Keller Williams, they give you this called Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's a lot of great information and scripts inside this book to help you on the traditional side.
You can tell he's been reading because you see some highlighted areas. This is real.
Look, Tashandra understands me. Tashandra Smith says the casino ultimate package experience. I like that. And Maurice says, should I buy a duplex with an FHA loan first? If you're gonna do that, you might as well buy a quad. JCL System says, great live family. Please keep this up and do more lives like this. Yes. And he put a bunch of fire and 100s behind that. Yeah, matter of fact, hold on, how many likes we got? We only got 23 likes on here, man. Can y'all smash the like button on this if y'all watching? Hot Shot Shag Transportation say, are you a wholesaler or cash buyer?
Asking me and my wholesale? I've wholesaled several properties. That don't make me a wholesaler. That make me a seller of whole goods.
He hustling. Period. So All Pro Lemonton, I don't want to mess this up, but yeah. So he says, well, they say, front double bicep. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You see this right here? I don't know if you can see it. It's a glare.
Pick him up, please.
Look, man, look. I'm telling you, I was getting straight.
I'm not even gonna be negative because I'm a positive person as well.
I was getting straight.
I'm just gonna read this book.
You know, but I'm telling you, give me to my birthday in September. I'm telling you now, I won't take that long now. My body adjusts right, you know, quicker than other people. So, so Tashandra says, I have read The Millionaire Next Door and it's a good one. And Rich Dad Poor Dad. I haven't read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, but I do watch his YouTube or whatever. And so I love the cash flow quadrant thing he got, and you know I like that.
But that's good too. I didn't even know he had a YouTube and a book.
Well, he got videos on YouTube. He got a lot of videos.
Okay.
He got a lot of videos.
And how can you find him?
Type in Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Are we marketing for that, or are we just gonna
focus
on casino?
Right.
Yeah.
Casino.
You know what? Y'all need to get my book. I have a book called Hot Shot. I got a book called Big Shot, Hot Shot, Own Your Authority, and the link is in the well, it's not in this description, but it's gonna be in the end of this description when I end this video. It's gonna be in there, but it's in my other videos as well. So you can find that. You can go on Amazon, type that in. You can get that. I hear it's a great read. I'm not because I don't want to speak from my standpoint, because of course I'm gonna say that, but it got some good reviews. I'm happy, you know. And we sold quite a few copies, and I appreciate it. You go get it. It's only $9.99.
So we got 5 more questions.
Okay, we got 5 more questions. You got 5 more questions. Let's ask one. Say, okay, Tashandra says she's a wholesaler and she buy and hold multifamily properties.
As a wholesaler, how is that possible? How do you buy and hold as a wholesaler? Because wholesaling, you put a property under contract and sell it. So if you put it on the contract, you're not a wholesaler anymore, you're an investor.
Maybe she says she's a wholesaler and she also, when she does buy and hold, she buys and hold multifamily. Or only multifamily. I'm guessing. Is that what you're saying, Tashandra? Is that what you're saying?
I just need some clarification.
Yeah.
Okay, well, while we clarifying that, what's the next one?
Well, that's okay. So she says, we already at the bottom. So she says you can buy properties with an IRA account and delay paying taxes. I don't know if that answered the question, but that's dope. And I do know that, but I don't even be thinking about it, but that's absolutely true. You can't do that. You can't definitely do that.
Delay the taxes.
Yes, because you use your IRA account. It's like, so like IRA accounts are like investment. Like, you know, you put money in a 401k, all that kind of stuff, and they use it to buy things. So you can use your IRA and say, hey, I want to buy property with it. And it's still tax deferred because it's considered a retirement account.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dope. JCL said, what is the buy and hold strategy?
There is no buy and hold strategy, because some people that do buy and hold get burnt because they think they're gonna buy and hold it in the area that's going to turn over, and ultimately that area doesn't turn over. So they bought the property,
never come back.
Sometimes hide up that area, and next thing you know, it's a subdivision going across the street and done killed your market, or is something that's happening in that area that you don't know about because you're not experienced enough to really do the research. Like I know the area of Hateville is booming right now, and the people that are buying over there are buying right. I mean, 3 years ago nobody wanted to move to Hateville, but now
still don't.
I met with a city councilman from Hateville, and they showed me the plans for the future. They're going to build up a little town called Airport City around Atlanta Airport. So that's where Hateville is. So that's what's driving everything. If you do a little research, like meet with councilmen and go to these board meetings put on by city, Congress, whatever, you'll find out what's happening in that area. So that's pretty much the only way you're going to learn about the buy and hold situation, on how you can benefit from holding in certain areas.
Okay, so this is actually a perfect question for him, by Maurice. He says, "Do house painters make a lot of money in Atlanta?"
Not with me. I'm gonna tell you why.
That's a perfect
because it's a standard when it comes to trades that you pay a certain amount of price for a certain job. And up here, house painters might get $1.50 a square foot. That's not square footage on the ceiling. That's square footage of the entire house. If I got a 2,000 square foot house, I'm paying $2,000 or more than $3,000 to paint the house.
The whole house.
So
not a
that
room.
include the ceiling,
No.
that include the walls, because if you measure the actual square footage, that's from the front and the side. And that gives you the whole square footage. But if you measure the square footage of the walls, you might have 5,000 square foot in a 2,000 square foot house worth of paint. Mm-hmm. So it's not really something. I mean, that's the industry standard, like $1.50 a square foot. So that's everywhere. Like that's everywhere. So that's basically what you're gonna be dealing with when it comes to trades like that. But y'all make good money. It's just you're not finna, unless you're doing a lot of houses and you got good guys working with you, then you'll be all right.
Yeah. The trick would be to leverage other people's time. Maybe you have a team and you run the team, and you got other people painting for you even when you're not there. You got a couple teams going. That's the only way I can see making some kind of real money with that. So Chris Bell says, "Have you ever had a deal where you lost money? Like, how risky do you think it is flipping houses?"
In Atlanta, the only way you're gonna lose money is by buying too high. So if you're not new to it and you purchase too much for the house, then you're probably gonna lose money. But if you're using hard money, they're gonna have their appraisal done. They're gonna have their not investors, but they're gonna figure out what the house is actually worth, so they'll know what to lend up on it.
Okay. How does, even though we did kind of talk about this, you probably missed it, so you might want to go back, but we'll try and run through it, I guess. How does hard money lending work? Because I want to get into flipping houses. That is Kilo.
All right,
Kilo.
Quick breakdown on hard money.
Kilo
is basically they give you a loan based on how much capital you have and your credit score, and with that hard money amount, they loan up to a certain percentage. LTV, we're going to go back to LTV, which is loan to value ratio of the actual ARV. When you thinking about buying houses and flipping houses, you want to work your way back from the end, and then you come back to the actual purchase price of the house, if you know what I'm talking about. The end is the ARV. That's the after repair value. You want to start there. So if you're but if you're looking at areas running numbers and comps and all this in MLS, and you know that the ARV for a house this size is $200,000. That's the number you start with.
If the house is perfect.
No.
No, that's the house perfect.
No, hell no. If you start at $200,000, your ARV is $200,000. That allows you to figure out what you're going to need to do to get $200,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but that's after the house is repaired.
Yeah, that's the after repair value.
So the house is already fixed. That's what it would be, right? But but the house isn't fixed yet. But that's just where the square foot.
200. I'm gonna do it real quick for y'all, so y'all can understand what I'm talking about when you start at the end. It's like walking backwards when you're looking at these properties. Okay, I go in the area. I know this comp is this house will be worth $200,000 when I'm done with it.
I
know my hard money loaned me up to 75% LTV, so I know I got $150,000 to dump into this house. With that $150,000, I gotta buy the house and I gotta remodel the house. So if they're asking for $100,000 and they need $60,000 work, it won't work because that's $160 I'm out of my range.
Right.
But if the house is worth, I mean, it's always gonna be worth $200. That's why we started it. If it needs 75 and work, then y'all already know my cap on buying it is 75. That put me right at the 150 I need to be at. But if that's the fastest way, I got young investors that come along and say that I got a good deal. I'll be like, okay, what's the comps? Oh, the comps looking like 150. I say, okay, what's the purchase price? They want 100. I said, how much work is needed? I don't know. I need a new roof, windows, carpets. I say, so basically a full rehab. Let's do $50 a square foot on 1,000 square foot house. You 50 bands right there. You know this ain't gonna work.
Right.
So don't even call me with that.
Yeah, the value of the house already.
Now I just help you out to show you that this isn't a smart deal when you should be doing this from the beginning. If you stop focusing on the purchase price and more what the comps are, then you can get back to that negotiating standpoint where you got to go back to the agent or the wholesaler, whoever's selling the house, and tell them, no, I need this house for this amount in order for it to work for me. And that's basically how hard money works.
Okay, so we got a couple. Okay, so what's the average profit of a flip?
There's no average, but I like to make at least $40,000 for my investors per flip.
That's nice. How do you get in touch with Kelley? He's on Instagram at KELLEY _Parker, PARKER. So just remember, it's not KELLY, it's KELLEY _Parker. So Tashandra, Nick says, okay, Joshua says, Tashandra, Dallas, question mark. Hot Shot Shag Transportation says, sorry, I asked this already, but I didn't hear you. Are you wholesaling or are you a cash buyer?
Oh, he asked that question. I'm like I said, I'm not a wholesaler, although I do sell properties wholesale, but that's not what I do. My main focus is the traditional side of real estate as well as my remodeling company, Metro Pro Remodeling. So I focus more on that than wholesaling and being a cash buyer. I like flipping houses as far as for other investors.
It's faster.
I make my money.
It's faster.
I make more of my money by actually turning over these properties for other investors and charging them consultation fees for telling them everything I know about the real estate game and how to make a profit. I don't really have to put up any money to do any of that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I do what I do. But my investors are very pleased with me and they make a lot of money. They make a lot of money. That's why we do multiple properties.
So Joshua says, by the way, somebody asked if Tashandra was in Dallas. She said, yes. Joshua says, got an email I can reach out to you at. Maurice says, if you got a 760 credit score, should you look at a truck or a house for residual income? Residual income, truck is not necessarily residual income. That's an active investment. That's not a passive investment. So, but would I look for a house for residual income? Not one house, I wouldn't. It's not a lot of money in it for just one. That's why flipping houses is like big money, right? But for residual income, like let's say you get a house and you're paying $700 a month on the mortgage. Even if you get like a cheap house, you're paying like $700 a month on the mortgage. You might rent it out for $900 or something like that, $1,000. Let's say even if you rent it out for $1,000, then that's not a lot of money. You know, you're looking at $300 profit over a year. That's $3,600. What happens when you get a bad? If you got, because you've already bought an older house, but what's wrong? What happens with like the roof needs replacing? You've already blown your profit for the next 2 to 3, 4, 5 years based off of one roof, and that's just the roof. What about plumbing? You can have a cement slab house. You might have to cut the whole floor up to get to the pipes on the floor. That could be a $10,000 cost, and you're only going to profit, $2,400 to $3,600 for the year, and then you got in between tenants where the house sit for 30 days or something like that, or you got to go back in, repaint. It's just too many costs to go in for a single family house like that. in my opinion. That's my opinion. See, okay. So Rosemary said, are you interested in flipping houses up north in Ohio?
Me personally, I'm not, but I have investors in Ohio that I can definitely link you up with.
Let me see. Hotshot Shag says, okay, so you will buy from a wholesaler if you have
Hell yeah. I love wholesalers. I love y'all. All y'all. Send me some deals. Okay. If Chad's still watching this, he need one. So.
Yeah, Hotshot Shag says, I'm in the Savannah, Georgia area. It's a gold mine down there. Well, I like Savannah. I do like Savannah. I was just down there. Yeah, I like Savannah. And we stayed in we didn't stay in the Airbnb.
Bro, nobody cared about where you stayed in.
But Savannah was cool though. Savannah was nice.
You been talking about days in Savannah? We talking about real estate.
Yeah, well, you know, Savannah's nice. I mean, I don't know what the real estate like. I'm assuming that they got the beach and all that. You know, that might be all right. So
drive Atlanta.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't invest anywhere outside of Atlanta. Like, not really. Like, I like the city, so I'm pro city. Savannah is a definitely.
Hey, drive Atlanta. I heard Kelley speak about investors. How can we invest with him? Send me a message on Instagram, Kelley_Parker, and we can chop it up that way. Once you send that message, then I'll shoot you my number, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, how Shag said the same thing. What's your contact info?
Same thing. Kelley, Kelley_Parker. That's my head on Instagram.
When the video is over, I'm gonna have all this information in the description as well. That's why you only buy multifamily houses. That's Rashid. That's what I would
Rashid,
do.
what is?
If I was gonna buy in whole, like for residual income, then yeah, it would be. I would try to get an apartment if I was gonna do that. If I was trying to do that.
There's no cheat code to investing in real estate. The best thing you can do is learn as much as you can learn. That way you won't put yourself in messed up situations. Multifamily, I mean, they sound good from the YouTube videos that y'all probably been watching.
Yeah.
But boy, it's a lot of liability with that. Yeah. Let a kid from the neighborhood ride a bike on your property and break their leg. Guess who's paying for it? You.
And Maurice says, jobs suck in Savannah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 o'clock. How long were we on here?
An hour and 2 minutes.
Dang. All right, so it was great seeing you guys, and we're going to try and do this next week.
Yes.
Next week, we're going to do this.
Yeah, I'm down.
See now, he said, yes, I'm cool with it. We're going to be back next week. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. If you haven't already, man, subscribe to the channel, man. We're pushing 23. We're at 23,000 and counting. So let's keep going. Anyway, share this video with your people. We out.